Hello. Good morning. Wow. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I want to take this opportunity to greet you all, members of the press who are here present. I understand that we also have members of the leadership who are here present. I've seen Honorable Zuzai, Honorable Monzora, Honorable Mshai, Honorable Chinanzwana, Masara, Shiriedenga, Honorable Mpariwa, our chair, Honorable Tapita Kumalo, organizing secretary, and other leaders whom I have not identified yet, but thank you very much for coming. This press conference or press briefing is a briefing that I'm holding after a whirlwind tour across the whole country, around the country, to try and assess the situation, hear the views of Zimbabweans, but most importantly, to try and share our views in all the provinces and the local communities that we visit. I must say to members of the press, you are welcome, you are greeted. I'm actually amazed that you came in your fullest of contingent, and that is appreciated. Thank you very much for honoring us and for being at this important MRT Morgan Tsvangirai house. As you are aware, February is a special month in the party and also in the country. We designated 14 February Morgan Tsvangirai Day, and it shall be so until we leave this earth. But we shall continue to honor the service and sacrifice of our president. And on that account, we've also lined up a number of activities across the whole country this weekend, where in various provinces and constituencies, we are going to be holding constituents meetings that are to do with celebrating the legacy of Dr. Richard Morgan Tsvangirai for his. Over the past 2 weeks, I've traveled around the country, meeting community and opinion leaders, civil society leaders, war veterans, traditional leaders, farmers, youth and women groups. I also had the opportunity to meet with our leadership structures in the party. The enthusiasm is so huge. In certain provinces, to ask our organizing department to ask ordinary people who wanted to be part of the meetings to be turned away on account of the fact that the meetings we were having were leadership representatives meetings at local leadership level. I listened to their passionate desires and their cherished will and wish for our beloved country. As a leadership, we also took the opportunity to share our Agenda 2020 program, which is the program of action for our year 2020. As we have already indicated, this year is the year of action. Action in communities, action in the various local areas, but also action nationally, coordinated by various players and actors. In Matebele and South, we were in Lupane, in Mat North, we went to Masvingo. And everywhere where we went, we were greeted by unbelievable and incredible enthusiasm. People are ready, people are buoyant, people are hopeful that change is coming. Everywhere where we went, the people are speaking with inspiring clarity and an emphatic voice, a unified voice. It's not just about MDC structures. It's even in Zanu-PF. The various leaders at various levels are also waiting and wanting change. The people of Zimbabwe are clear about what they want and, of course, what they do not want. They want change. They do not want dictatorship. They want an alternative. They do not want a false new dispensation, otherwise, which is a new deception. The people are quite clear and very simple in their demands. They want the people's government. They are claiming and indicating that the government we have is not a government that has come from the people. It is a government that was declared and imposed upon the people by the Constitutional Court. They want their vote and voice to count. They want corruption to be decisively dealt with, and they are demanding decent livelihoods. They want dignity, they want accountable and responsible leadership. Parents are working and clamoring for a living wage. They want to fend for their families. Families want food on the table. Parents want affordable school and exam fees. In fact, it's so clear that it's a travesty of justice that in this day and age, you have a government that asks for people to pay for exam fees, 190 for O level, 350 BS. Who can even raise 100 RTGs? It's actually putting education beyond the reach of the majority, almost commercializing education, making it a commodity that is going to be unavailable to those who are from indigent and poor families. There has been a claim and a demand for jobs by young people who might not. A lot of young people, particularly in the Matabeleland regions, Masvingo, the southern provinces, have been flocking to South Africa, crossing the border to try and look for greener pastures. There has been an opportunity by people to express how those who have skills and those who want to pursue their dreams have been shortchanged because of missed opportunities and neglected advantages. I had the opportunity to also hear their cries, a real occurrence and not fictional occurrence. In fact, there is an emphatic demand for the bringing back of the US dollar and not for people to continue to use the RTGS. That demand is so loud across the whole country. Our civil servants are demanding a decent wage, pensioners are crying for an urgent relief, war veterans, including men and women in uniform, are crying for decent life with dignity and honor. I've met a number of them, and they continue to assure me that what they want is to see a punctuation with the fidelity of the cause for which the liberation struggle was fought, through delivery of things that have to be delivered: the sovereignty of the will of the people, one man, one vote, the dignity of all citizens, and of course, the security of persons. That is what was at the core of the liberation struggle. I've also heard, the cry in Matabeleland. There are issues that are very serious there. Seeds of instability are festering. Issues of marginalization, devolution, and historical injustice play a center stage, and they need to be addressed with agency, with the frankness that is required. They are sick and tired of a top-down approach. They are sick and tired of the Hararization of everything. They want Zimbabwe to be respected for its all provinces, and they want all the tribes to be respected, all the cultures to be respected. This is the same story I heard, particularly in Manicaland, Masvingo, and indeed the whole country. Issues of the national question. What is the national question? How do we make sure that we have an inclusive society? A society that benefits all citizens and all Zimbabweans. People want to share the wealth of the country together. They also want to make sure that in whatever they do, they are enjoying the benefits of the resources that were given by our God. God-given wealth is being squandered by greed cartels that are linked to the ruling elite. In order for the country to return to legitimacy and democracy, we hear the people clamoring and claiming that there has to be total change, not cosmetic change. They want genuine dialogue, not an alternative fandom dialogue, otherwise known as Pollard. They want an inclusive, comprehensive reform agenda, and not the one dictated by one party or one man. They don't want us to be a public relations scheme on behalf of the incumbent, being a sidekick, enjoying and wasting taxpayers' resources on some trips that are unjustified and unwarranted. I promise them that we will give peace a chance, and we will continue to pursue genuine dialogue, requiring dialogue that is bankable, credible, and irreversible. Zimbabweans need food on their table, they need a roof over their heads, jobs for all, they want decent wages, they want their dignity back, and they also want the real dollar in the pocket. The use of hard currency is a real demand across the whole country, as I've already indicated. People want their pride back, they want their freedoms back. They want the fundamentals of productivity and production to be dealt with. Then we can then move to issues of currency reform, but having dealt with the fundamentals of our economy. Trust, confidence, predictability, and production being at the core. As you may know, a revolution is a decision. Anger is growing across the whole country. And anger is going to be a catalyst and a fertilizer to a revolution. The young people are frustrated. They are angry because their future is being stolen. Their advantages are being abused and neglected. They are angry because those who grabbed power are arrogant and do not want to listen to their voices and their cries. They are angry because their vote was stolen and their voice is being ignored. They are angry because the struggle to get even the simplest of things has become real. They have to queue for everything, including water, man, food, and fuel. Even payment of lobola via EcoCash requires people to be in a queue. There are queues at malls, banks, shops, service stations, fuel stations, and things have just gone berserk. We've even gone to the extent of having to form millennium committees and even cookouts. That shows you how we have gone into levels of primitive politics and policies. Not only that, we've also seen how our country has been taken in the opposite direction of civilization. In all these meetings I attended, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, fellow Zimbabweans, I listened to the people's desires and wishes. And as the MDC, we had one message: restore our country to legitimacy. Let us have a people's government. Let us have our livelihoods sorted out. In all these meetings, I've seen that it is important for the MDC to respect and take the mandate of the people seriously. People believe in us. People have confidence in us. I'm shocked. And on the Breaking Barriers initiative, we are breaking all the barriers that are inhibiting the country in returning to legitimacy, fundamental reforms, and democracy. This initiative is very popular with the people. People are understanding that it takes all Zimbabweans to liberate themselves. Freedom is a collective enterprise. Freedom is an obligation of all citizens. It can never be outsourced to an individual or a few individuals. It takes all of us to be our own liberators. And for that reason, this initiative, which is a new consensus and a new convergence platform, embraces a wide spectrum of our society: our labor, churches, women, war veterans, farmers, youth, business, and the elderly. We have said in our Agenda 2020 that we put forward the big fights for the year that we will pursue throughout the year. The first fight is a fight for a people's government, comprehensive reforms, and the return to legitimacy. And it has all campaigns and programs that are going to be run under that first fight to make sure that we have a people's government in this year. The second fight is a fight for a better life, the dignity and livelihoods of our people. Issues to do with the humanitarian crisis in the country. On this fight, we've already made an appeal to the international community. We've even written to our colleagues in Zanu-PF to say, let us have hunger declared a national disaster so that we pave way for an entry of international players to help us. Because we continued with this ostrich in the head, sending the head approach of an ostrich, we will not be able to resolve the issue that we have to resolve. The third fight is the fight against corruption. Now, this is a big fight. It is a fight within the MDC. It is a fight countrywide. We have to make sure that we maintain integrity and transparency in whatever we do. But the fight against corruption must take center stage in the country. It is corruption that has caused cartels. It is corruption that has caused a dysfunctional government. It is corruption that has destroyed our hospitals. It is corruption that has decimated our education and torn apart our roads that are all in bad shape. Corruption is at the center of our political instability. The first form of corruption is the corruption at elections. Mr. Mnangagwa and his team were very corrupt in how they entered into the halls and annals of authority and responsibility in this country. So corruption is the big issue, including the corruption of the election that we continue to see even in the by-elections that are taking place across the whole country. The fourth issue, which is the fourth big fight, is a fight for rights, freedoms, and security of persons. This is a big fight. And we are taking this fight to make sure that people's rights are respected and honored. Last but not least is the fight in defense of the Constitution and constitutionalism. We take note of the fact that Mr. Mnangagwa wants to introduce unilaterally, in a partisan fashion, without being inclusive, a raft of reforms, which reforms are a negation of the collective will of the people. This constitution was endorsed by the people of Zimbabwe, but Mr. Mnangagwa is doing what Mr. Mugabe could not even do, taking our country back to Rhodesia, taking our country back to Smith's regime, taking our country back to colonialism by introducing a validation and consolidation of authoritarian dictatorship, whereby he's giving himself power, ignoring separation of powers, ignoring the sanctity of the will of the people, the sanctity of the civil society. So on account of these big fights, we are going to do a raft of activities, and you will see them across in communities throughout the country. Ladies and gentlemen, the people know the task ahead, and they know that the task is not easy. They are determined to rescue their country. People are ready to fight. They are ready for a big fight. They are ready to defend their rights. They are ready for actions that are going to give them freedom. I was deeply inspired by local leaders who are working tirelessly to grow the party structures. The MDC is growing. I know that some of you may not appreciate this, but we are facing a great risk as individual members. We are using our own resources. We are supporting this party through contributions from members and supporters, well-wishers who are willing to come and support the cause, even at great stress to their lives. We get no funding, no donor support from anyone except those who believe in us, members and support. Members is so inspired. I can tell you that I'm excited at the renewal, reformation, and revitalization of the grassroots within the party. Our emphasis on the rural areas is something that we are taking seriously. We are renewing, growing, and strengthening our party in terms of its grassroots structures, transforming the way we work in terms of our culture and structures here at Harvest and beyond at our local levels. MDC is the leading party. Zanu-PF is the ruling party. There is a difference. We lead in ideas. We lead in the ability to provide solutions and alternatives. That's why, even in Zanu-PF, they've now adopted our blueprint, the smart policies document, as the document they are using in government. Their adoption recently being the adoption of our smart agriculture policy. Hopefully they'll be able to copy the footsteps and the class so that they don't bastardize our noble programs. We are very confident that we are not just here to outsource our freedom, but we are here to make sure that we provide leadership and collective action and national action. And I urge you to participate, fellow Zimbabweans, to reach out to your local leadership and to reach out and get involved and to make sure that we finally demand our country back. It's time for action. It's time to demand our dignity. I thank you. God bless you. God bless Zimbabwe. And God bless all of you. I'm ready to take questions.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a very important intervention that he's just made this morning. As you know, Zimbabwe is turning 40 and the fundamentals of our independence are at stake. There was a lot of clarity and precision in its presentation, but I'm sure there are one or two questions that will fit. If you have a question, you can raise your hand so that I can take note of you. I see a hand there.
Thank you. I have two questions. One regards the issue of the US dollar. You said when you did your tours around the provinces, people were saying let's return to the use of the US dollar. Ministry of Finance, RBC governor saying let's not adopt the US dollar. What's your take? Number one. Secondly, when you say let's take back our country, let's take back our dignity, does this mean you are going to be hosting protests as part of the action plan? Thank you.
Okay, 3 at a time, so not two more at the back there. Yes. You can also identify yourself before I ask a question.
I wanted to find out, there's a National Anti-Corruption Conference Summit that is being held by Comrade Selinga and Comrade against the rest of the other guys that are claiming that they now have evidence to expose certain individuals that they named before. Is the movement for democratic change part of it? And if not, why is it not? And also you said you're now beginning to take action. I'm sure as Zimbabweans, they've just noted and they're just thinking, okay, so when will you actually start? Is there not a take-off date that you're looking at to start?
Thank you. Third question.
It's such a mouthful. I was trying to.
Okay.
What is your third question?
Sorry,
No,
The last one?
my last question.
Yeah.
Okay, my last question was, you said that you're going to take off, this is a year of action.
Sure.
Yes, but previously, I think you said that for maybe quite a couple of times now. When exactly are you planning on taking off, if indeed you're going to take off?
That's right. Thank you very much. Let me just try to answer the questions that have already been posed. The first one on the US dollar. You know, I told you of the ostrich mentality of burying your head in the sand, hoping that you will not bend the whole body. The body is bending. The US dollar is the currency that is being used everywhere. Even when you look at the pegging of prices, they are being pegged at the US dollar rate. Certain service stations are already selling fuel at US dollars. Government is transacting in the US dollar. Mr. Mnangagwa is carrying the US dollar in his pocket. And so is everyone in government. So we don't want to live a lie. And this is part of the biggest challenge our country is facing. We seem to thrive on institutionalized dishonest and taking lies to be our modus operandi. Why should we pretend that the RTGS is the currency of choice, when in fact the currency of choice is the US dollar? Some of the distortions we are seeing are on account of this denial of the reality that is on the ground. We just as well have to have this bridging of the barrier between government and the people. The people are very clear. They are using the US dollar. I'm sure all of you here are using the US dollar, even in pegging your prices or in transaction. So we have to be realistic and we have to be factual. What you are seeing tells you that those in authority are living in cloud cuckoo land. The reality is the US dollar is the currency of choice and the currency of transaction in Zimbabwe. In terms of protests, yes, you will see more protests. Protests whenever there is oppression, the demand for freedom becomes natural. And we have the Constitution. It gives us the power. The people have the power to ultimately demand their freedom. In terms of the Constitution section, 88, executive authority is derived from the people. Section 160, legislative authority is derived from the people. Section parliamentary authority comes from the people. Of course, the judicial authority in 162. So ultimately, the people have a right to protest. All we have to do is to provide the oxygen to the demand of that protest. And that oxygen will provide. For those who are willing to participate, we'll make sure we provide leadership. And that will be provided. And that takes me to this question. We've said it's a year of action. It's not as if we've not done action. We've done action. Last year we had 18 prohibition orders because there was something that we wanted to do. But we've said that this year is different. We're not going to be wasting our time on tomfoolery from any quarter. The police must know that they are not above the Constitution, and nobody is above the Constitution. So yes, the time has come to say enough is enough, and we must do what has to be done. They will try to arrest people, they will kill people. We know that is their default setting. But no regime has ever fought against people and succeeded. No gun is more powerful than the gun called a conscious mind or a human being who is conscious. So time has come. We must draw a line in the and say this far and no further. I hear a lot of people say, no, focus on 2023. We will not waste our time to be on a merry-go-round. Foolishness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We have been down this road since the 80s. Elections in this country have been reduced to a ritual. Matema Dada said it. They are saying it, that an election which is not premised on reforms is meaningless because they will not respect it. So there has to be a radical approach, a disruptive approach to how elections are supposed to be done. If we don't resolve 2018, we cannot have 2023. And some have misconstrued it to mean that we'll boycott. We will not boycott ourselves. We are the people. If we say that there is no election, even if Zanu choose to go with their surrogates, their choir, it will be an election. There has to be a proper election in this country. And we need to resolve this political crisis before 2023. We can't wait for a 5-year electoral cycle to repeat a deception of the people. Certain people have been named for corruption. I thought it was a Zanu-PF affair. We said fight number 3 for the MDC is a fight against corruption. And we use credible platforms to fight against corruption. We have not received any invitation from anybody, from any individual. As and when an invitation comes, we always assess. But we no longer want which is for 27. We don't want us to do something and then somebody becomes a beneficiary. Mr. Mnangagwa is a beneficiary of the 2017 people's genuine demand for legitimacy, demand for a resolution of the issues. But what did he do? He came in to pretend to be the leader of that sentiment, the leader of that demand, the leader of that aspiration. And look at where we are. We're back to square one. People are beginning to see that perhaps we must not be focusing on an individual going. The issue is the system. We used to say Mugabe must go. President Tsvangirai, up to the day of his death, he was saying Mugabe must go. We were saying Mugabe must go. But Mugabe is gone. Our problems are still there. So we must not just look at the going of an individual. We must look at the holistic issues around the system that has to be dealt with, giving back power to the people. And that is going to be the result of ourselves as Zimbabweans, as citizens. And if we are going to be out in our millions, no gun is effective against the people who are determined and who are resolute about their freedoms. Yes, some may die, but at the end of the day, when you have an intransigent regime, that is the price that has to be paid. We have given peace a chance. They are snubbing our call for dialogue, mistaking it for a weakness. We are not weak people, but strong people believe in peace. And that's why we're giving peace a chance. But they must not take us for granted. I hope I've answered you. I hope I've answered you, my brother.
Yes.
Thank you. Another question?
Another hand at the back.
Yes, thank you.
I like it when journalists are just looking at me with satisfaction. I think it shows that we are clear in what we are doing, and I want to thank you because it's difficult to please journalists, but I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Advocate. My name is Tobias Mutsinga from Capital FM. We hear of some sort of instability, particularly in Bulawayo province. There's been word that has been going that Madam Chair is being sidelined from the party, sort of, that's in court. Can we have a clarification on that from yourself?
Thank you very much. You see, Zanu-PF Arakash have been on an overdrive on social media, trying to equalize us with Zanu. Our house is not on fire. Our house is fire, but it's certainly not on fire. We are vibrant. We are doing a lot to make sure that the team that was elected to Congress does its best to achieve results for the people of Zimbabwe. There's no confusion in the MDC. You know, I'm the leader there. At the end of the day, we are a team. We play as a team, and that team has different role players. Tabita Kumalo is the chair of the party. She plays a role as the chair of the party. When it comes to deployments to the zones of government, it is the prerogative of the president. And I've not made changes. When I decide to make the changes, I will advise the party, and those changes will be effected accordingly. But there's no problem, except a figment of the imagination of our detractors, especially Arakash. You know, and the MDC enlightened the people on social media. I've been trying to do a good job to hold back this Arakash. But I can tell you that there is no turmoil in the MDC. Those who may choose to disembark on this great train always do so on their own volition. In any event, this is a big tent. People come in, people leave. That's the nature of voluntary organizations. But the party has certainly grown bigger. Tsvangirai is proud, wherever he is, of this movement. I can assure you that those who have left us, those who have departed, they know that this party is now better than it was. We have done well in parliament. We got close to about 64 seats, plus the 28 that we challenged, because there were irregularities. So we did well. Last time we had about 49 seats. So we've improved in 2013. We've improved on the vote. President Tsvangirai, it is highest at 1.2 million. We now have 2.6 million. Official results, about 2.3 million, which are tempered with. But still, it shows you that we've doubled the vote. You look at our mayors, we now have 28 mayors out of the 32. So the party is ascending, and the party is the people's party. It is doing well. We are happy. There's no turmoil in Bulawayo. There's peace and harmony. It's a honky-dory affair coming from Zanu, who are trying just to cast aspersions on our party. But we have no problem. And she's here. You can always ask her if she has any agonies or worries. She's a happy comrade.
Thank you, Excellence. One or two more? Okay. Yeah.
Costa from newzimbabwe.com. Just want to find out from...
Happy New Year, Costa. I haven't seen you.
Okay, fine. There have been allegations that your councillors are corrupt, and number two, they are failing the people, particularly here in Harare, in terms of providing clean water. What is the situation vis-a-vis the Urban Act? Just want to understand from you.
Okay. At the back there.
Okay. My question relates to the issue of dialogue. We keep hearing when you speak to the other side, they say we are committed, they are not. Here you have just repeated the same sentiments. You are committed, they are not. What really is it going to take for you and them to get to the table and really start to talk? Because we keep hearing and we keep seeing continuous deterioration.
Thank you.
Blessed Mhla, Newsday. There are some people who believe that you are being lily-livered in terms of taking action, too cautious, and always saying that you are going to act, but when the force of the police comes on you, you retreat, and they believe that you should be more bullish. I want to understand.
But I'm not a bull.
But they believe that you should. And I was part of a meeting that you addressed with teachers, and that sentiment was echoed to yourself directly, where your supporters believe that you should.
Is that a journalist who is playing that? Okay,
where your supporters believe that you should take the bull by its horns. Are you at any point going to get to that point, and if so, what is the trigger? Then the second question is that your councillors have expressed facing serious challenges on the lack of devolution, alleged interference of their work. What is the way forward to ensure that your councillors have authority so that they don't continue giving excuses, so that they are able to effectively deliver? Because right now, if you ask them, they tell you we are being hamstrung by local government. So what is the action or the plan forward to ensure that those excuses stop playing?
Thank you. I'll start with that is the leader, but it's not the party. The party makes decisions as a collective. This whole thing of wanting to separate Chamisa from the organization must stop. When decisions are made by the party on action to be taken, it's a collective decision. Yes, I'm the captain, but the captain is not the team, and the team is not the captain. We have midfielders, we have defenders, we have strikers. It's a team, and a very effective team for that matter. So this whole thing of saying Chamisa cannot afford to be heard, I have lieutenants to do what you are asking me to do. Yes, is to be the ultimate pacifier and show the country the direction. But you want me to set up fires across the whole country. When the nation burns, who is going to extinguish those fires? I'm very conscious of the responsibility that I must take. And I must do it with calmness, boldness, equanimity, but also realizing that we have a nation to build. And it doesn't take a lot of time to destroy this country. Mnangagwa must be thankful that I have tried to funnel the genuine desire of the people to see peaceful resolution in a particular way. But that time is up. I've said, now we're drawing the line in the sand. Even within the party, I've told them, we will not continue on this path of talking about dialogue. We must be able to resolve this issue once and for all. So you will see more of the people taking into the street. You will see more of the people acting now than ever before. So this whole thing of wanting the principal to behave like a lieutenant doesn't work. If you want the fight in the dog, you will find it. But you will never find the dog in the fight. I hope I've answered. On the issue of the trigger, there's always a revolutionary moment. And those moments are coming. The trigger will come. All we have to do is to be ready. And I can tell you that the nation is ready. It's not even an MDC issue. It's Zanu-PF, MDC, everyone. Ministers, MPs in Zanu are also fed up. Everyone. I have no doubt that when the moment comes, all the people are going to come, act together, work together, and do a great thing together to make sure that our country is liberated. On the issue of the councillors, I will combine that with what Costa has already said. Our councillors are not corrupt. Our councillors have maintained the highest form of integrity. Had it not been for the MDC, you would not be having cities, you would be having villages and townships. Our guys have done a fantastic job. I was in Lawai, where residents are saying our council is trying under difficult circumstances. They are aware of the limitations, but they know that they are trying. You go into Harare, difficult circumstances, but they are trying. They have not failed the people. What has failed the people is central government. Water, in terms of the Water Act, is the preserve of the president. In fact, the president is the owner of water. So you can't blame MDC being the host pipe for not delivering what is not there. Water must be generated, and it is generated by Zinwa, which is central government. Chemicals must be treated, and money must be available because of our distorted monetary situation. It has to come from the central government, Reserve Bank. So you can't blame the victim who are trying to do whatever they can under difficult circumstances. A lot of things have been done by our councillors to improve the welfare of residents. So yes, the MDC is not to blame. And this finger pointing by government must be remembered in the context of the fact that whenever you point a finger at somebody, 4 of the fingers are pointing at yourself. And that's what we must correct. We must deal with the fundamental reforms. Blessing what you are saying. Number 1, we need legal reforms to align the Urban Councils Act to the Constitution in the spirit of decentralization and devolution. You can't have a country where you have local authorities, but their procurement is being done by the Office of President and Cabinet in Mr. Mnangagwa's office. Where is devolution? Why do you want them to be accountable without authority? That has to be aligned. Budgets, I'm told the RNS budget has not been approved. Why? Because the Minister of Local Government has not approved that budget. Why should the Minister of Local Government, who has no mandate from the people, from the residents, approve a budget done by residents with consultation of the residents? When they don't approve the budget, they then kill service delivery. They then kill viability and soundness of administration of activities in the local authority. In any event, people who are deployed to be heads in the various local authorities are actually functionaries from Zanu-PF, most of them. And dealing with them is a big issue because there's the local government board. And I'm informed that the local government board has to come from the minister. Those are big issues. Our local authorities cannot even do deals, partnership, capital projects, engagement. Why? Because they have to go to get authority from central government. So under those circumstances, those changes have to be effected. Devolution, respecting the constitution, aligning the issue of decentralization within the constitution so that we're able to have authority in local authorities to discharge their mandate and function according to the law. The issue of, I think Costa answered it.
Yeah.
The issue of effort, SABC dialogue. The fact that we are speaking at cross purposes, Zanu-PF on one hand saying this, ourselves on the other hand saying something else, tells you that things are not okay. Zimbabwe is burning. And I've told SADC that the danger with burning Zimbabwe is that it will set ablaze the entire region. This crisis is going to affect the entire region. And we've said we need mediation. That's why we need a mediator who is credible, who is preferably with stature that would give credibility to the dialogue. Not this Muppet show that is taking place. If they were serious about Poland, why are they proceeding to have amendments that are not shared by all the players? Assuming that, yes, forget about Chamisa, because they minimize this national discourse. It's not about Nelson Chamisa and MDC. It's about the people of Zimbabwe and the issue they are raising. Mr. Mnangagwa does not command even half the population support. So when he goes to engage internationally, he does not have the mandate of the people of Zimbabwe, because we command a significant portion. When you look at our urban areas, when you look at the vote itself. So there has to be a political settlement, a political dialogue to resolve our issues. We have said we are ready. I told President Becky, don't worry about the referee if you trust the players. We are the players. Why should you be bothered about President Becky not being, objective? We can't play the referee. Let's play the game. And MDC is a player. Zanu would obviously be a player. The issues to be resolved are to do with the legitimacy crisis and the issue of reforms and taking our country on a shared path to a future that we are all agreed upon. Not this business of Mnangagwa telling you that Vision 2030. Your own vision is not a national vision. Zanu's vision is not a national vision. So don't share if it is not shared. The offer by audacity to say also boldly state that there will be no genuine dialogue outside a credible dialoguing process between Zanu-PF and MDC. The rest is a waste of time, a sideshow, a public relations exercise to hoodwink the international. In fact, it's not dialogue but monologue. I hope I've answered you.
Okay, another question?
The last one.
Okay, the president is requesting that it be the last round. So if you don't raise your hand now, you stand. Okay, I note 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Thank you. My name is Leo from New Zealand. President Chamisa, you have been talking of dialogue as a party. You are coming from a national tour. What are the people saying about dialogue? They are the ones who are on the ground.
Sure.
They are the ones who are in the queues, as you have said. What are they saying?
In fact, let me just answer you on that one. People are actually saying, President Chamisa, you are wasting time with these people. They are deaf and dumb. They will not say a thing to you. They will not listen to you. Let's just deal with them. President, give us a signal. That's what they are saying. And I'm telling them, look, we must give peace a chance. As a leader, we must always make sure that we give peace a chance. They are saying, no, we don't have any peace. So this peace you want to give a chance is not there. There's no peace in our pockets, no peace in our stomachs, no peace in our homes, no peace in our marriages, there's no peace at workplaces, even weddings, there's no peace. So what peace are you talking about? Let's just do what has to be done. And people are ready. And now I'm almost joining that chorus. Let's do what has to be done.
Then in the same light, you are coming from a national tour. And I'm sure you also know...
But have you been answered, Leo?
Yes, I have.
Back on.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sure you've also perused through your pages and seen for yourself the numbers which you managed to achieve in the previous by-elections.
Sure.
What are the people saying about those numbers? And what is the party doing about it?
Well, those by-elections are not elections. They are just platforms for playing out of drama on account of Zanu. And we are conscious of it. They are abusing food, they are weaponizing food, weaponizing poverty. So people they've asked me, President Chamisa, you are saying we must vote in a by-election for a council. Here are the twin hazards. Number one, when you ask us to vote for an MDC councillor, the moment we do so, we are going to be victimized soon after voting. So we'll be facing problems right up to the next election. So there is hunger. You don't have capacity to give us food. So why don't we just feed ourselves so that we are able to be alive until when our next services are required to give them? That's what the people are telling me. And it's so compelling. You can't go to people and when they say vote for us. Because a simple councillor will not change life at that local level. What will change life is government. It's central government. And they're saying, we voted for you. That vote is more important than this vote you are asking for. Because a mere councillor will not help us. So it's a contradiction in terms. And that's an issue we are currently seized with within the party. To say that under those circumstances, what we do. You know that in the previous circumstances, President Shangrai had to say, we are no longer participating in by-elections. It was because of that problem. The problems are still the same, so we need just to change. You know, the script is still the same, different players. The act is still the same, different actors. Mugabe is no longer the actor. President Shangrai is no longer the actor. Enda Chamisa, Enda the payment. But the problems are still the same. Okay? So we have to change the script and the act. And it has to go to the issues of how by-elections and elections in the country are managed. That's why reforms are key. And that's why we cannot even begin to imagine 2023 in the absence of reforms. Thank you, Leo.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the by-elections and the issue of illegitimacy. We have been having so much talks on the issue of legitimacy, and I have not.
And the name is?
Margaret Matipeli.
Maggie.
And I've not been able to find anyone who answers me, and I'm satisfied.
I'm here to answer you.
As to how long it will take for the majority of Zimbabweans who are already suffering to enjoy the stroke of illegitimacy, when there is nothing being done on the ground to ensure that the general citizens have a decent living, when there are no strides that have been made to ensure that whoever is taking part in the political arena comes together for the benefit of Zimbabwe first before politics comes second.
Well, unfortunately, Maggie, I don't know, I hope I will not disappoint you. This call to say, do what President Shangrai did in 2008. And you know, Zanu-PF people are beginning to love President Shangrai in death.
Yeah.
When he was still alive, they would look at him, chamatama, boycott, sell out, puppet of the whites.
Yeah.
Now he's a saint. Chamisa is the villain.
Yeah.
But I'm still playing the same role. I'm still reading from Shangrai's script.
Yes.
And I'll not move on that. But what we are not going to do is to find shortcuts to resolving the problems. These shortcuts have brought us where we are.
Amen.